Top 3 best money books ever written. That is what we are talking about today. We are talking about life-changing books. There are very few books I have ever read in my life that I'm like, this could literally change my life or someone else's life. These 3 books we're talking about today can literally change your life. And it's not overnight. It's about changing your mindset and the way you think about certain things, okay? So one of these books we're going to talk about is more stock market related, so more towards stock market investing. And a couple of other books are more about business building and more about personal finance things, and I literally think they're the type of books that literally change people's life, guys. So I hope you absolutely enjoy this today. Now, you will notice on this list that none of these 3 books are my book, okay? Modern Long-Term Stock Market Investing Secrets. I did not include my book in this list. I feel like you just can't include your own products if you're in creating like a best list. I'm certainly proud of my book. It reached bestseller on Amazon. That's freaking awesome. The only kind of drawback with my book, as far as like, you know, people that had complained, is a lot of people didn't like that I had wrote it, because I mean, most books that are written out there are written by what? Professional writers, right? Or they hire ghost writers, right? Every popular person, you know, whether it's Gary Vaynerchuk or all these guys that write books, they're all written by ghost writers. They kind of tell them, you know, the gist of it, and then their ghost writer, who's a professional writer, will actually write that book. I didn't do that. I actually wrote that book, every single word in that book. So that was kind of the drawback there, but it still gets like, I think, 4.5 out of 5 stars on Amazon. People have really loved the content, which just goes into exactly why I invest the way I do, what I look for in companies, guys. So now here we go, guys, with the list. Coming in at number 3 is a book called The Intelligent Investor. The Intelligent Investor, one of the first books I ever read on the stock market that I really loved, and I thought it really explained things very well. Okay, this is a book you're going to want to get for yourself if you haven't gotten yourself this book already, or go rent it from the library or whatnot. By the way, I got all these books linked probably in the comments there, so you can click on them if you want. Those are affiliate codes, so I do make a commission if you buy any of those books there, just for full disclosure there, okay, guys? So The Intelligent Investor is a phenomenal book. It gets you in the right mindset for investing, in my opinion. That's a big thing. And the way you should look at investments, and kind of like the way you should value companies and things like that. But the most important thing is really setting up your mind and understanding Mr. Market, which, you know, Ben Graham talks about in the book, Mr. Market. And what he's basically talking about is he's talking about the opportunities that the market presents itself, okay? The reason it allows people to make so much money or lose so much money is because the market can be very irrational at times, okay? It can badly misprice stocks. This happens all the time. It either way overvalues a company or way undervalues a company. The opportunity presents itself when you can find those ones that are way undervalued, that should not be trading where they're at, invest in those, and then hopefully sell it for a fair price, or maybe even sell it for an overpriced price, right, guys? That is the goal. And so the book goes into a lot of the fundamentals. Now, The Intelligent Investor, this is a book written by Ben Graham, who influenced Warren Buffett, and who influenced my entire investing style, Warren Buffett. So Warren Buffett was influenced by Ben Graham. I've been influenced by Warren Buffett, and so a lot of my techniques in investing in companies is like 80 to 90% Warren Buffett. I'm just a little different, and I try to go for a little more growth. Warren Buffett will invest in a company that isn't growing at all. He'll invest in ones that are growing at a 3%, 5% growth clip. Like, I'm really trying to find companies that revenues are going up 10+%. Those are the kind of companies, but I still want them for an underpriced valuation as far as the PE ratios go. Great balance sheet, a lot of those kinds of things, guys. So that, if you're going to be a stock market investor, I think that's a phenomenal book. Only drawback on this book that I get sometimes when I recommend it to people is some people say it is written so long ago. It was written like, I think it was around 60 years ago, maybe a little more than 60 years ago now it was written, guys. And so some of the language isn't the most modern language, which is funny because some people complain that the way I wrote my book, and it was only a few people, but some people complain when I wrote my book, I used some slang in there, and I talk in a very modern time of talking. So it's funny that sometimes people either complain about you talk too modern, you use too much slang in a book, or you're too old school and the language doesn't make sense, guys. So that's kind of the only drawback on that book there. My second favorite book is a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad, written by Robert Kiyosaki. This book is unreal for a lot of reasons, but the main part of this book is, you know, kind of when he talks about the cash flow quadrant, which is Robert Kiyosaki's big thing, which you can really change your mindset. And I'll kind of explain that to you here, guys. It's such a wonderful thing when you kind of understand the cash flow quadrant and kind of understand, you know, you kind of put yourself in a situation where what quadrant am I in here, okay? So basically, you draw this here, okay? So there's four separate things here, all right? First is the E's, okay? This is what most people fall into. They're employees, okay? This is the employee category. And these people need to obviously get a check, okay? They can't create a check or don't want to create a check, one of the two. Either they can't make money on their own or they don't want to make money on their own. These people value safety, a safe job, benefits, and things like that, okay? They're employees, and that's what they value, and you know, they just live a decent life and those kinds of things. Some of them are poor, unfortunately, especially some of the lower wage workers, but a lot of the middle class are employees, right? Okay? That's their thing. They're really valuing the safety of a job. They don't want to take that risk of starting a business or investing in those kinds of things. They have other people manage their money, okay? They just have their 401k or whatnot that's managed by somebody else. They don't want to take any risks. That's their thing. They're not worth the stress or the risk of doing those kinds of things, all right? Then you have the small business owners. Now, small business owners meaning like they have basically no employees working for them. They're one man or one woman shop, you know, and that's kind of what they do. They don't have other people making them money. They make themselves money. They feel like if there's a job out there to be done, they're the best ones to do that job, okay? So a lot of lawyers and doctors and people would fall into that category that don't have, you know, a bunch of employees around them. They just fall into this category of a small business owner. Both my parents would fall into this category of small business owners because neither one of them has employees, my dad or my mom. They're just self-employed. They make their own money. They have their own businesses, but they don't have employees working for them. So that's a small business owner, okay? Then what you have is these categories over here, which are really the life-changing ones, the ones that you really want to get into, okay? These are the first one up here is the big business category, which is people that now have hired out employees. They might have started as a small firm, but they build up to having a big business where they are hardly even needed at that job anymore. They have people out there each day who are collecting checks, who are their employees, who are making them money around the clock, okay? Day in and day out, those salespeople or whatever job they are, they're making them money. Think about, you know, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos would obviously, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people that would be in this category. Just think about Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos would be in that category because around the clock, people are working in those Amazon warehouses, working for him, okay? They're his employees, and they're filling those packages and whatnot, sending them to your house and whatnot. Jeff Bezos making money off of all those people that are doing all those tasks. I think he's got well over 100,000 employees now at this point working for his business, right? That's a big business. You're having people make you money when you're in the big business category. And then there's a last quadrant down here, which is the I, which is investors. These people have their money make them money, okay? Their money makes them money. They collect dividends. Maybe their stock prices appreciate. Maybe their real estate appreciates, right? Maybe they collect rent because they're renting out a property, right? And they've paid $300,000 for that, and they get, you know, now they get $2,000 payments, you know, every single month for that property, right? And they get a return on investment within 10 years or something like that, right? So that's the investor category, and then they do it in the next property, or the next stock, and things like that, and they just keep building the pie bigger and bigger. So this is really the ideal category you really want to get into. You want to get into the big business where you have people making you money, or software systems and things like that, which is a little more new school type stuff, passive income streams. You want to get into that side, or you want to get into the investor side, or possibly both. When you get into both, that's really the creme de la creme there. When you have passive income streams, when you have people making you money and you're investing, that's phenomenal. That's what I do, by the way. So that's the goal, is what you want to get over here, guys. And that's why Rich Dad Poor Dad is my second favorite book. Now on to my favorite book of them all, which is called Think and Grow Rich. I believe Napoleon Hill wrote this book, okay? This book is unreal. Unreal book on changing your mindset. And if I remember correctly, I think the book was written back in the 30s, okay, guys? This is my favorite book on money. It's by far my favorite book on money. I mean, I love Rich Dad Poor Dad. I love The Intelligent Investor. But Think and Grow Rich is just way above all of them because of the psychology around it. And when I read that book, I felt like every single thing in that book, almost every single thing, not every single thing, but almost every single thing in that book I agreed with. I was like, this is what makes someone successful. And it talks about all the different things. It talks about your mindset you need to have. It talks about the dedication you need to have and all those kinds of things. It talks about, you know, how every war is won before it's ever fought. It's talking about organizing your planning and all these things so you can execute on something, okay? It talks about having having faith, which is a huge thing, whether you're investing in a company, whether you are, building a business, anything, because you're taking risks, right? If in order to do anything big in this world, you have to take risks. And in order to take risks, you have to have faith. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have a burning desire to succeed at whatever it is. All these things that book talks about. And for that reason, it's my #1 favorite money book in the world. And not just money book, like that's probably my favorite book of all books ever. Well, all my books are favorite money books, so that's kind of a bad example there. But still, I mean, even if you're not into money, which if you watch this channel, you're into money, obviously. But even if you're not into money, I think that's a life-changing book just in the way you kind of view the world and yourself and things like that, guys. So those are my 3 favorite books ever as far as life-changing books on money. I hope you guys enjoy this. Once again, I should have everything linked down there in the comments section. So click on them if you want to check them out. If not, that's cool, guys. I hope you enjoyed this today. Hit a thumbs up if you did. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.